couple of those steaks. Yeah, just hold that down. Alrighty. So here you can kind of see how these are like gill chambers, probably more obvious than the other way I was putting it out. So these are called internal gill slits, right? Whereas like these are the external gill slits. So that was one more thing on the gills. Okay, so for the mouth, this is our oral cavity here. This is our pharynx. This is the tongue. It's not really movable like ours is. Okay. This large gray tissue here is the liver. We have a left lateral, medial, and right lateral lobe of the liver. So I only have 3 lobes, so it's more simple than cats. And then we have our falciform ligament here. Now we can look on our pelvic fins in here and see that this one has claspers, so it's a male, right? So if this was a female, the falciform ligament would be larger, and it would have an opening right here that would be called the ostium tubae. Okay, we don't have that in this one because it's a male. So falciform ligament on the median or medial lobe of the liver. And then this kind of flattened tissue sometimes has kind of a greenish tint to it. On the median lobe of the liver is the gallbladder.
That happened to me earlier.
No, it's not recording anymore.
No. Alright, so then kind of behind the lateral lobes of the liver are the gonads. So since this is a male, these are the testes. That was female. The ovaries would be here. Sometimes they look just like this. Sometimes they have mature ova or eggs in them, and so you always want to check and see if there's claspers, before you're asked to identify the gonads, right? So you don't want to get it wrong if you're looking at a female that doesn't have eggs in it, right? And thinking that it's a testes because it could be an ovary and look the same. Alright, the mesentery that attaches the testes is called the mesorchium. In a female, that would be called the mesovarium. Okay? Go here to the stomach. Alright, so the top part here is the esophagus. When we open that up, you can see the esophagus has these papillae. And then here is where the stomach starts, where you have these folds called rugae. Okay, there's different sections of the stomach. This top section is the cardiac portion of the stomach. This section is the body of the stomach. So those are also sections in the cat, right? And then this upward curve of the J is the pyloric region of the stomach. Again, you have the greater curvature of the stomach with the spleen on the greater curvature and the lesser curvature, so the inside curvature of the J. Okay, really similar to in cats. You have a gastrosplenic ligament here between the spleen and the greater curvature of the stomach. And you have a lesser omentum here, actually surrounds this bile duct and hepatic artery and vein here, and then it goes over here to the lesser curvature of the stomach and the duodenum. And just like in the cats, there are 2 sheets of the lesser omentum. The part coming from the stomach and going to the liver is gastrohepatic ligament, and this sheet going over here to our duodenum is the hepatoduodenal ligament. The mesentery holding up the stomach here is called, that's on kind of like the greater curvature side of the stomach. It's either called the mesogaster or greater omentum. Okay, whereas this is the lesser omentum with gastrohepatic ligament and hepatoduodenal ligament. Okay, now the duodenum is really small in the sharks, as opposed to what you see in the cats. So they've got the position of our pyloric sphincter here is like hardened, and where the stomach comes to an end there. Okay, then this short little section here is the so everyone can see. This short section here is the duodenum. Then this whole thing here is the valvular intestine with the spiral valve. You can see the different levels of the spiral valve inside. Okay? On your duodenum here, you'll notice the ventral lobe of the pancreas kind of wraps around, and sometimes it goes back a little further, covering the duodenum right here. Okay, then underneath the pyloric region of the stomach and running towards the spleen, you have the dorsal lobe of the pancreas here. Okay, in sharks they have a third lobe, and it's right here. It's right underneath the pyloric sphincter area, and it connects the dorsal lobe to the ventral lobe of the pancreas, and it's called the isthmus of the pancreas. I'm not going to have you identify that because it's just too hard to hold everything back and label it on an exam. Okay, so working our way down, valvular intestine, the spiral valve. Now this mesentery, this one's kind of ripped. The mesentery that suspends the valvular intestine, and then it goes over here, so this should all be filled in here. It connects to this mesogaster or greater omentum here. This mesentery here is just called the mesentery, right? Kind of similar to in cats when we spread open all the small intestines, right? And that was called, So in cats it's called the mesentery, and in sharks it's called mesentery proper. Right, so it's not the mesentery, it's mesentery proper in sharks that holds the valvular intestine, but really similar ideas, right? Okay? Alright, so then the valvular intestine comes down here, and the end of the valvular intestine here, where there's no more spiral valve, the spiral valve stops inside of it, right here. This part is the rectum, whereas the actual sphincter here would be the anus. This whole space here, used for urinary and waste excretion and genital reproductive purposes, is all called the cloaca. Okay? Since this is a male, this papillae here is called a urogenital papillae. Is where sperm and urine will exit the body. Alright, so going back to our rectum here, so the whole thing is a cloaca. The space that the rectum empties into is called the caprodium. The space here that the urogenital papillae empties into is called the urodium. Now if this was a female, we would also have two uterine horns running down the sides here, and there would be an opening here dorsal to the caprodium and kind of underneath into the sides of the papillae here in the female, and the papillae is called a urinary papillae because it doesn't have a genital function, it's just for excreting liquid waste. So that space here around the urinary papillae in females would be called the urodium, where the uterus exits, right? But in males, it's just a space that has the urogenital papillae. So that's urodium is here, caprodium is here, but the whole space together is the cloaca. Makes sense? Obviously, we've got our claspers here, and then I'm going to go back inside to our rectal gland here. Right, so this is a rectal gland here, and this mesentery suspending it is the mesocolon. Right, and then also wanted to point out the kidneys. So these are the kidneys running along either side of the backbone, the white things. Now, in females, this is all the same color all the way up and all the same structure, but in males, you can see this squiggly line running on top of it, and that's essentially the vas deferens that the sperm runs through, right? Because it goes from the testes down through here. You don't need to know the vas deferens, I'm just explaining so you understand the concept. You just need to know that the kidneys are here, but this isn't kidney, that's actually vas deferens. The kidney's underneath it. But we'll worry about that when we get to the urogenital section. Alright, I believe that is everything.